Hello, 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 Crossroads, witches and other interesting magical beings. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of Let's Start a Coven. We're going to talk about your expectations, rules, regulations, guidelines, and how all that mushes together. I'm going to start by taking a sip of beer, all right? Because for our membership, our rules, we can drink beer if we are down and around space, all right? Now, my question to you is, do you want people drinking alcohol in your space? Something as simple as that, all right? This is your expectation. Where are you? What are you trying to create, all right? For us, and the way the house operates, as long as you're responsible, legal, blah, 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 you can drink alcohol. Now, I have been in other circles, other traditions, where alcohol's not allowed. Neither is smoking. We smoke cigars down in space. We also 420 periodically, that's allowed, but we don't allow cigarettes in space, all right? We have rules in place because that way all of our expectations are met. And that way when people come out to our space, we can be like, here's the rules, here's the guidelines, whatever phraseology you want to use. And how important it is to have those in place from the get-go. And I'm gonna give you a little secret right here. All right, I know, shameless promotion, Crossroads Witchcraft. All right, in the back of the book, we published our membership requirements. We published our rules, regulations, guidelines, whatever you want to call it, all right? And we start out with, you know, our mission statement, all right? As that we are, you know, a traditional witchcraft coven which derives its powers from the diversity and strength of each individual member and exists to provide for its members a safe place which to express their spirituality. It's our mission statement. Write your mission statement down. All right, you may want to really get into your deep, or you may just want it to be a couple of sentences. Don't try to write a tome of a book to start with. Just write down simply what your expectation. That's the beginning of your mission statement. All right, and then for us, what we have next is our membership. If you want to get involved with the house, we talk about guests, people who are coming. All right, and then we have a standards of conduct, all right, and what we expect of people when they come into our space, all right, and these are things that, again, this can be like a page. This isn't a down and dirty, you have to name everything else. This is the building of your foundation, and if you are going to start a coven, a grove, a circle, a temple, a house, whatever phraseology you're choosing to use, you need to have some rules, guidelines, expectations in place. And they start with your expectations, which, remember what we talked about in the first video where someone's got to be in charge, someone's got to build this foundation. Yes, you are building towards being an egalitarian. We all come together. We all have a voice. But right when we're starting our groups out, the worst thing you can do, and I said it in the last video, and I'll probably say it in the next video, is for people to show up and y'all be like, well, what do you want to do? What do y'all think? All right. I didn't show up at your place to plan your evening. I showed up to participate in what you had planned. Okay? And think about if somebody did that to you. You show up someplace and they're like, oh, full moon circle. You show up and the person's standing there going, what do you want to do? You're going to be like, I don't know. I didn't know I had to prepare. I thought I was showing up for what you had created. Okay? Later on, when you have people who are coming out, people who have become invested in your group, in their group at that point, all right, that's when you start having these conversations, and that's when you'll start forming committees down the line. Right now, this first year, in a day of getting that coven, getting that circle in space so that it set it up to succeed, you need to have a couple of rules in place, and they're your rules. You create them. All right, like I was saying, I went to a circle where she didn't allow almost nothing. We couldn't eat meat, we couldn't drink alcohol, we couldn't smoke the good stuff, we couldn't smoke the cigars, all right? And for our vibe, this isn't what we're about. We don't like this. I'm not gonna say we don't like it, we just don't vibe with it. For other folks, that's a great space, and if you're wanting to have that complete natural, this is what we're gonna do, only vegetarians will come to my space, then damn it, write it down, all right? Whatever you choose, how you do it, write it down. And you are going to remember these are written in crayon, chalk, on a chalkboard, whatever. They can be changed, all right? But it's about making sure that your expectations are the same expectations as the people who are showing up to your event. It's about you being able to create this amazing experience for yourself and for others who joined in, all right? Everything you have is inside of you. And sometimes it's hard because you'll be like, I'm not qualified. And I'll go back to the first video. I didn't know I was going to be a high priestess when I started out either. I didn't take good notes, witches, all right? I spent my 20s as party drunk witch. I'll be the first to hold my hand up and say it, all right? I was all in the community having fun. I was in New Orleans having fun. I was having fun everywhere. I wasn't taking things too serious. It wasn't until later on for me when I got in my 30s and I started looking toward it and realizing, that I wanted a space. And at being blessed enough to have been part of a lineage tradition so I could lean on her. I could look back and ask her. And within the House of Witchcraft tradition, we don't give out that high priest, high priestess title. I'll talk a little bit about that later on as we get further into the series. Give me one sec. Y'all know I always have notes. All right. With it, I'm doing a whole series of these little tidbits on you that want to start a coven on each piece of them so you can go through and do it. All right. The only thing stopping you is you. You are qualified. All right. You're special. You're magical. You're spiritual. Our community needs you. We need more groups coming together. We need more people that have the kahunas to develop those first year traditions, those first generation traditions, all right? I was so blessed to stand on the shoulders of those before me that had those kahunas, And it is a daunting task. But every tradition started with its first generation. The only thing stopping those people were themselves. The only thing stopping you is you, all right? Now, next week, we are going to talk part 3 about being a high priest, high priestess. It's also referred to as standing center, talking about shining your light and how important it is on this journey for you to have your authentic voice. All right. Remember, this isn't about pleasing everybody. This is about bringing folks in that you relate to, folks that you can stand shoulder to shoulder with, share energetically, and create magic and create change that this world needs. All right. And if you try to please everybody, we all know the saying, you ain't pleasing nobody. So you write those rules, regulations, guidelines, whatever you want to call them. conduct of behavior, write down a little sheet, being reasonable about it. Nobody wants to show up and find out they have 3 pages of rules they have to follow. But at the same time, holding people to a level of accountability that you hold yourself to. Never ask of these folks what you yourself have not done. All right? That's one of them golden rules when it comes to having a group witch. So, go write those guidelines down, leave me notes and messages, and of course, if you want to know more, you want to get up in here, houseofwitchcraft.com, you can contact me directly at amusingwitch@gmail. I'm also on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, but that's sort of sporadic witches. And of course, hit that like and subscribe because it does help with the algorithm. And if you want to support the house, please hit that membership button down below. We really appreciate it. Allows us to do other things, allows me to do this. And with that said, get out there, fly those brooms. Fly them. Just fly them. All right? Stop thinking about it and get out there and do it, witches. And you know it never changes. It's always the same. Amen. Blessed be. Ashe and a bobo. Hello, hello. Crossroads witches and other interesting magical beings. We are here for part 2 of Let's Start a Coven. Part 1, please watch it. We're gonna... I'm gonna drink a beer. All right, let's try again.